Guys, in this video, what I want to do is show you some websites and some online resources that you could use at your advantage, and maybe introduce you to some names of hardback reference books that we have in our laboratory as well, and what you can find in those reference books when you need them. And there will be a time that you will need them at a certain point. So the very first one that I want to introduce you to is something called the SDBS. The SDBS stands for Spectral Database System. It doesn't really have an easy website that you can just memorize and go to. I always have to Google this, and the reason is because this is stemming from a grant initiative that's coming out of Japan. And right now, they have no plans of making an easy website for you to use. So the Spectral Database System, SDBS, just go to Google, type in SDBS, and you're going to find basically this very first link up here at the top that says AIST, Spectral Database for Organic Compounds. All right, well, right there's the website. I can't remember that. You probably can't remember that either. So it's always quicker and easier for me just to Google it. When you click on this link, we use SDBS quite a bit. And the Spectral Database System, this is the website. Down here at the bottom, you're going to hit agree to the disclaimer and you're going to use the system. So this is an online database that's constantly getting added to over and over and over. So what does this database provide me? Well, later on in the program, you're going to be using this for a number of different reasons. But let's say that I want to know something about ethanol. I'm interested in going to the ABC store and buying some ethanol or ethyl alcohol. All right, well, I want to know some information about it. So I can type in the compound name up there at the top. I can type in the molecular formula. I can give molecular weight ranges. Oh, look, CAS registry number. If I know that, then I can just type that in and it will automatically direct me to what I needed to go to. And then the SDBS number is in their registry database system. So I'm going to hit search. And when I hit search, all of these names are going to pop up. Anything that contains ethanol or ethanol-related name in the actual name itself is going to pop up as a choice. Notice down here at the bottom, I'm going to have over 30 pages. Oh, gosh. I don't want to look through all 30 pages. Hopefully, ethanol is on this very first one. And if I go down through, I do see it. Ethyl alcohol, right there it is. All right, so a little bit about ethyl alcohol. Some of the information I can take away. Number one is the chemical structure. Number two is the formula, or what we would call the molecular weight. How much does it weigh if I'm in regards of 1 mole of the substance? And then it looks like the Y's all the way across the board. Every Y means yes, that information is in the system. N, of course, is no. So I've got yes on MS, which is mass spectra, a yes on nuclear magnetic resonance based on carbon and hydrogen both. I've got a yes on infrared, a yes on Raman, and a yes on ESR. Just to show you what some of this information would look like, I'm going to click the yes for ethyl alcohol on the infrared. This now pops up on my screen. This is a trusted verified source about infrared spectra on ethanol if I ever need it. I'm going to see some information up here at the top. One of the things that I like to see is the CAS registry number. I know that that is a unique identifier. Gives me a picture of what the infrared is going to look like. So when I do it in the laboratory, hopefully mine will match that. Gives me some actual information here from the infrared. Specific numbers that I would want to take a closer look at. Gives me the structure, skeletal structure at least. And then over here to the left-hand side are quick links that will allow me to go to other things that they have on hand as far as the chemical is concerned. So a database for spectra. That's basically what it is. Infrared spectra, mass spectra, NMR spectra. This is why we use the spectral database system. That's why it's called spectral. And you will use that over and over later on in the program. So our next resource is Prudent Practices in the Laboratory. Notice the very first link, and this is Amazon, because I'm showing you that this is a reference textbook that you can purchase. But up at the top, the very first one says Handling and Management of Chemical Hazards, updated version, laboratory safety. And it was listed April 25th, 2011. So this is a reference text. As with any text, though, it can become outdated. New things can be added in, things can change, things can be deleted, but Prudent Practices in the Laboratory is right there. Right? The second listing that you're seeing on the screen says Prudent Practices for Handling Hazardous Chemicals in the Laboratory. And it looks like that one, August 25th, 2017, but it's a very similar book, right? So what I'm trying to say is that this information gets updated all the time. All the time. And like many of the reference physical books that we have, some of the staple information is not going to change. But there could be slight modifiers, or there could be additions to the book that wasn't there previously, or deletions of entries that they felt they didn't need anymore. And you could have an outdated text because of that. Okay, well, here's the thing. If you want to order a hardback book, there you go. $86, $25, you can get a copy of Prudent Practices in the Laboratory. Now, if you want an online resource that you can access that has some pretty good information from it, then up here at the very top, you're going to see and maybe I need to lower that down, but you're going to see the website that you can use to access this link that I have up on the screen right now for Prudent Practices in the Laboratories. So up here, it's www.ncbi.nih.gov/books/NBK55878. So the Prudent Practices in Laboratory will pop up. This is the screen that you'll see, or something similar to it. And if you scroll down, you'll start to see a chapter breakout. So each chapter will have different sections on the inside, and you basically can click on any of these. Let's say I want to know more about the chemical hygiene plan. What is it? So I'm going to click chemical hygiene plan, and it will reference to me that section of the literature reference, and it will give me some basic information about the chemical hygiene plan and what's included in them, and some images that I can reference to. But basically, it is an online resource of what's going to be found in the Prudent Practices text. If I scroll down and take a quick look at the chapter breakout, the culture of laboratory safety, how did it get started? Environmental health and safety management system. This includes how the laboratory should be ran as far as safety goes. Emergency planning. What should a company do in order to figure out what they should do if an emergency happens, like an incident? Number 4, evaluating hazards and assessing the risk. So based on the laboratory that you're working for, what are probably some of the things that you need to watch out for that can happen pretty easily? Number 5 is management of chemicals. So how should you keep them? How should you order them? How should you dispose of them? How should you keep track of them when you get them? 6 is working with chemicals. right? So if you've got to work with highly reactive or explosive chemicals, they give you some tidbit of information about what to do. Well, that also includes gases, biohazards, flammables, you name it, it's going to be listed. Chapter 7 is working with laboratory equipment. What should I watch out for? Number 8 is management of waste. So once we generate the waste, how should we handle it and where should it go? Number 9 are laboratory facilities. So this would be things like your air pressure, making sure that things are staying inside of the laboratory whenever possible. 10 is laboratory security. We just don't want anyone from the street to walk on in and say, hey. So lab security is going to be followed. It gives you some ideas on what should be happening at your place of employment. 11 are safety laws and standards. What are some of the things that the laboratory company you work for have to abide by? So that gives you a little bit of idea of the information that can be found in Prudent Practices. So it's geared toward research labs. That's something that I want to mention. It's geared toward a research lab. It's free, and a PDF is also available. So if you go over here to the right, you're going to see a PDF version of this title. You can click that link and download the PDF version if needed. Our next one is going to be the NIOSH, or NIOSH Pocket Guide to Chemical Hazards, NPG. It informs workers, employers, and occupational health professionals about workplace chemicals and their hazards. Gives general industrial hygiene information. NPG clearly presents data for chemicals or substance groupings such as cyanides. This is how you handle fluorides. This is what's special about manganese compounds, etc., that are found in workplaces. The guide offers key facts, but it does not give all relevant data. It helps users recognize and control the workplace chemical hazards. There's 4 versions of this pocket guide. There's a print, online, PDF, and mobile web app. So if you want to access and maybe take a closer look at this NIOSH under the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, then the website that you need to go to is up at the very top. It's www.cdc.gov/NIOSH/NPG. So over here to the left, you're going to see kind of a breakdown about the things that you can find in the book. I'm just going to go straight to chemical names, synonyms, and trade names. So we're going to look for, no, I'm not going to give you feedback. We're going to look for maybe a random molecule that we're going to pull out. And let's say that I am required to work with a compound, who knows. Let's pick this 1-amino-naphthalene. Okay, so I'm going to click that link, and the good thing about this is that, remember, this is for occupational safety and health. Okay, so it gives me the CAS number, it gives me the chemical formula, it gives me some other information that I need to know about it. Look, molecular weight, boiling point, melting point, solubility, all of this is verified, all of this can be trusted. Combustible solid. Oxidizes in the air. Exposure routes, inhalation. I can get it on my skin. I can ingest it. I can get it into my eyes. Any kind of symptoms that's associated with it. There we go. Target organs, bladder and skin. We also see a tendency of bladder cancer with exposure. Personal protective sanitation, there we go. First aid, this is what you do. Any kind of special information about the chemical can be found down here at the bottom, and how to handle it. This is basically like an SDS or an MSDS. Maybe just a little more condensed, not as wordy, with just the basic information that's going to be present. You can also search by CAS numbers. Of course, it's going to be very easy for you if you know what that number is in the beginning. But that's what you're going to find in this particular resource, in the Pocket Guide to Chemical Hazards. That's what the focus is. That's what you're going to find with this resource. So in the next video, we're going to continue on. I'm going to show you some more resources that are out there and maybe the information that you can find in those. So don't give up on me yet. We're almost done. I just need to show you a couple of more websites and we are finished.